Consumed by rage, I called the abandoned warehouse where my wife was with her lover. "If anything happens to her son before we speak, you're dead," I threatened. After he handed her the phone, I coldly instructed, "When you're finished, meet me at the garages." Be me, Robert Anderson, 38 years old, living in Boulder, working as a senior software architect at a major tech company, making great money, have everything I could dream of, perfect house, perfect family, or so I thought. That day changed everything. In a fit of pure rage, I called the hotel. Knew my wife Linda was there. With him? With that bastard. Words felt like poison in my throat, each syllable burning as I spoke. When receptionists connected me to their room, my knuckles went white from gripping the phone, pure rage boiling inside me, completely eclipsing every other emotion. "Listen carefully, Anthony," I growl into the phone, voice so low it barely sounds human. "If my son dies before I talk to her, I will find you, and I will kill you with my bare hands." Dead silence on the other end. Just the sound of rustling sheets. Hear him mumble something. He hands her the phone. Her voice hits my ears. So familiar yet so different now. Casual, almost mocking. "Yes," she says, like she's talking to a telemarketer. Not her husband, not the father of her child. "When you're done having fun with your boyfriend, please come to the hospital emergency room." Snap at her with pure venom in my voice. She goes silent for a moment too long. Slam the phone down before she can respond, my hands shaking with rage. Standing in the hospital corridor, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, matching the noise in my head. My son Benjamin, my boy, in critical condition after an accident, and she cares more about her affair than her own child. Feel a mix of fury, disbelief, and pure anguish. Not just the betrayal. It's the timing, the sheer heartlessness. How did I miss all the signs? Pacing the cold hospital waiting room, mind racing through the last 6 months. All the subtle changes in her behavior, Linda's sudden business trips, her evasive answers, the way she started avoiding me, not with hostility, but with that dismissive indifference, the kind that shows someone has already checked out, already given up on everything we built together. Was it all just lies? All those years? All those promises? All that shared laughter? Stare at the double doors leading to ICU, where Benjamin lies unconscious, hooked up to machines, stomach churning at the thought. He's just a kid. He needs his mom. But instead of being here, she's tangled up with another man. The nurse calls my name, snaps me out of my dark thoughts. "He's stable for now," she says gently, like she's trying to cushion the blow of what might still come. "Thank you," I mutter. My voice sounds hollow even to me. Step into Benjamin's room. Only sound is the steady beeping of monitors. His face looks so pale, so fragile, such a stark contrast to my usually energetic boy. Sit by his bed, hold his small hand in mine. Make a silent vow to protect him. No matter what it takes, that means confronting Linda. Not just as a husband anymore, but as a father. Can't take my eyes off his face. Watch his chest rise and fall. Each shallow breath reminds me how close I came to losing him. Grip his hand tighter. Feel the rage simmering inside. Barely contained. How could she not be here? This is her son. Our son. What kind of mother chooses pleasure over their child's life? My phone buzzes on the chair beside me, pulls me from these dark thoughts. It's Linda, finally decided to call. "Hello?" I answer, voice colder than Arctic wind. "Robert," she says, her tone unnervingly calm. "I'm on my way to the hospital. I'll be there soon." "Spare me the pleasantries, Linda. I know exactly where you were." A pause. Her silence speaks louder than any excuse. "Look, we'll talk when I get there," she says finally. Her voice takes on an edge, like I'm the unreasonable one. "Yeah, we'll talk." Hang up. My hand shaking again. Spent years making excuses for her behavior, brushing aside all the red flags. But now the truth is too obvious to ignore. That hotel call ripped away her mask, exposed a side of her I never wanted to see. Think about all those nights, staying up late, worried about her sudden work commitments, her distracted behavior, always blamed it on stress, en fatigue, on anything but betrayal. Deep down though, I knew, just didn't want to admit it. Linda arrives 30 minutes later. Her entrance is so casual, like she's walking into a coffee shop, not the hospital room where her son is fighting for his life. She's dressed impeccably, hair perfectly done, makeup flawless, wearing the same navy blue dress I saw her leave in earlier. She glances at Benjamin briefly, her expression completely unreadable. Turns to me like our son isn't even there. "What happened?" she asks. Like she's asking about the weather, like our son's accident is just a minor inconvenience. My blood starts to boil. Stand up slowly. Keep my voice low for Benjamin's sake. "What happened?" "You want to know what happened?" "While you were busy with your boyfriend, our son was hit by a car." See her face twitch slightly. but she masks it quickly. Goes back to that neutral expression. I wasn't with anyone. You're being dramatic. Dramatic? I hiss. Step closer to her. I called your room, Linda. I spoke to him. Don't insult my intelligence. For a moment, think I see guilt flash across her face, but it disappears instantly. She rolls her eyes. Actually rolls her eyes. Crosses her arms like a teenager caught in a lie. Fine, she says, voice dripping with disdain. Yes, I was with Anthony, but don't act like you're some saint, Robert. This marriage has been dead for years. I'm not the only one to blame. Her words hit like a physical blow. Not the only one to blame? Repeat her words in disbelief. Are you seriously standing here, in front of our injured son, trying to justify your affair? Linda scoffs. Looks away like this whole thing is beneath her. I don't owe you an explanation. You're not perfect either, Robert. Always working, always too tired to even notice me. Anthony actually makes me feel alive. Something you haven't done in years. The sheer audacity of her words leaves me speechless. For years, I worked long hours, sacrificed everything, made sure she and Benjamin had everything they needed. And now she's using my dedication against me, using it as an excuse for her betrayal. You're unbelievable, I say finally, my voice shaking with anger. I've been killing myself for this family, and you have the nerve to act like you're the victim. Linda just shrugs. Her nonchalance makes my blood boil even more. Believe what you want, Robert, but maybe if you'd paid more attention to me, this wouldn't have happened. Takes every ounce of self-control not to explode right there. This isn't about me, I say through gritted teeth. This is about you. You made a choice, Linda, and now you have to live with the consequences. Her face hardens like concrete. And what exactly are you going to do about it? She challenges, her tone daring me to act. For a moment, don't answer. My mind races with possibilities, each one darker than the last. But then look at Benjamin, lying there so still and vulnerable, in that sterile hospital bed. This isn't just about me or Linda anymore. This is about him. I'm going to make sure Benjamin is okay, I say finally. Keep my voice steady and firm. And after that, we'll see where we stand. But don't think for a second that I'll let you off the hook for this. Linda smirks, like she's won some unspoken battle. Do whatever you need to do, Robert. Just remember you're not exactly a prize yourself. With that, she turns to her phone, starts scrolling like nothing happened. Like we're not in a hospital room. Like our son isn't lying here injured. Sit back down by Benjamin's bed, my hands trembling. Mix of anger and despair washing over me. The woman I married, the woman I loved more than anything, she's gone. In her place is this stranger, this cold, selfish stranger, who cares more about her own desires than the family we built together. Hold Benjamin's hand tighter. Make a silent vow. I will protect him from her, from this toxic mess she created. No matter what it takes, I'll make sure he has the life he deserves. The hours crawl by like years. Still sitting beside Benjamin's bed, Linda retreated to the waiting room. Muttered something about needing space. Don't care anymore. Let her have all the space she wants. Need her out of my sight. Before I say something I can't take back. Benjamin stirs slightly. His eyelids flutter. My heart leaps into my throat. Lean in closer. Squeeze his hand gently. Benjamin, buddy, I'm here, I whisper. His eyes open briefly, glazed with confusion and fatigue. Dad, he croaks. I'm here, say again. Brush a hand through his hair. You're safe. Just rest, okay? You're going to be fine. He nods weakly. Eyes drift shut again. Relief washes over me, but it's fleeting. Reality looms over me like a storm cloud. Benjamin's recovery is only the beginning. Still have to deal with Linda and the wreckage of our marriage. Step out into the hallway. Need a moment to clear my head? Hospital is eerily quiet. Just the faint hum of machinery. My phone buzzes in my pocket. Startles me out of my thoughts. Pull it out. Half expected to be Linda. Texting some snide comment, but it's not her. It's my brother Timothy. Hey, I say. Keep my voice low in the quiet hallway. Robert, what the hell is going on? Timothy's voice is sharp with concern. I got your message about Benjamin. Is he okay? He's stable, I say. Run a hand through my hair. But it's been a lot. Do you need me to come down there? For a moment, consider it. Timothy has always been my rock, the one person I could count on, no matter what. But this isn't just about Benjamin's accident. This is about Linda, and I'm not sure if I'm ready to share that part of the story yet. No, I say finally. We're managing. I'll keep you updated. All right, Timothy says. Can hear the hesitation in his voice. Call me if you need anything, okay? Anything at all. Thanks, Timothy. I will. Hang up. Lean against the wall. My mind racing. Always prided myself on being the kind of man who could handle anything, who could keep his family together, no matter what. But now, for the first time, feel like I'm losing control. Linda's betrayal is a knife to the gut. And the wound isn't just emotional. It's deeply personal. Think back to the early days of our marriage. The laughter, the shared dreams. How did we go from that to this? Sound of heels clicking against tile floor pulls me from my thoughts. Linda appears at the end of the hallway, phone in hand, expression cold as ever. "Robert," she says. Her tone clipped. "We need to talk." Cross my arms. Keep my face impassive. "Talk then." She glances around, clearly annoyed by the setting. "Not here. Let's go outside." Reluctantly follow her. Out to the hospital courtyard. Night air is cool. Stark contrast to the tension between us. Linda lights a cigarette. Haven't seen her do that in years. Takes a long drag. Finally speaks. "Look," she says, exhaling a cloud of smoke. "I'm not going to apologize for what happened." "Of course you're not," I say bitterly. Her eyes narrow. "Don't interrupt me. You think you're some kind of martyr, but you're not. I've been miserable in this marriage for years, Robert. Years. And if I found someone who made me feel alive again, that's not entirely my fault." Stare at her, my disbelief morphing into simmering fury. "Are you seriously trying to justify cheating? On me, on our family, while your son is lying in a hospital bed?" Linda sighs. "Like I'm the one being unreasonable. You don't get it. Anthony listens to me. He cares about me. You've been so wrapped up in your work and your own world that you haven't even noticed how unhappy I've been." "You're unbelievable," I say, voice rising with each word. "Do you hear yourself? You're blaming me for your choices. You're the one who stepped out, Linda. Not me." She rolls her eyes, takes another drag of her cigarette. "Maybe if you'd been a better husband, I wouldn't have needed to look elsewhere." Something inside me snaps. "You're pathetic," I say. Keep my voice low and steady. "You've destroyed everything we built together. And for what? For some guy who probably doesn't even care about you. Beyond the thrill of sneaking around." Linda smirks. The sheer audacity of it makes my blood boil. "Say what you want, Robert, but at least Anthony makes me happy. Can you say the same about yourself?" Clench my fists, fighting the urge to lash out. "You disgust me," I say finally. "You don't even care about what this is doing to Benjamin. Do you? You're too wrapped up in your little fantasy to see the damage you've caused." Linda just shrugs, her indifference cutting deeper than any insult. "Benjamin will be fine. Kids are resilient." Her words are the final straw. Step closer, my voice trembling with controlled rage. "Let me make one thing clear. I will do whatever it takes to protect Benjamin from this mess. And if you think for a second that I'm going to let you drag him down with you, you're sorely mistaken." Linda stares at me, her expression unreadable. For a moment thought she might actually feel something. Guilt, regret, anything. But then she flicks her cigarette to the ground, crushes it under her heel. "Do whatever you need to do, Robert," she says, voice icy. "I'm not going to beg for your forgiveness." Watch her walk away, her heels clicking against the pavement. Feel a strange mix of anger and relief. She's gone for now, but the fight is far from over. Stand there under the cold night sky, make another silent vow. I will protect Benjamin. I will make sure Linda's choices don't destroy the one thing that still matters. Our son. The drive home that night, one of the longest of my life, left the hospital after making sure Benjamin was asleep. Being monitored properly, Linda stayed behind, though I doubt her presence had anything to do with genuine concern for our son. Need space to think, to process, to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. The house is quiet when I walk in, its stillness almost eerie. It's the same home Linda and I built together, room by room, filled with memories of birthdays, holidays, lazy Sunday mornings. But now every corner seems to mock me, whispering about the lies that had been living within its walls. Pour myself a glass of bourbon, let the sharp burn steady my nerves. Living room light flickers softly. Sink into the couch, staring blankly at the coffee table. My mind replays the day's events. On an endless loop, the hotel call, Linda's indifference, her audacious attempt to shift the blame. Notice the blinking light on the answering machine. Snaps me out of my thoughts. Feels almost surreal. Who even leaves voicemails anymore? Press the button. Curious and cautious, robotic voice announces. Message received today at 7:46 p.m. Then his voice comes through. "Hey Linda, it's Anthony. Just wanted to check in. I know things got crazy with your kid in the hospital, but you know I'm here if you need me. Call me when you can, babe." Freeze in place. Glass of bourbon suspended midair. The casual tone, the sickening familiarity of the word babe, hits me like a punch to the gut. He sounds so comfortable, like he has every right to be leaving messages on the phone we share. Slam the glass down so hard it cracks. Don't even care. My anger is a living thing now, clawing its way to the surface. How dare he? How dare she? My phone buzzes on the table, pulls me back to the moment. It's Timothy again. This time I answer. Robert, he says, his tone firm. What's going on? I know you said you're handling it, but something doesn't sit right. Talk to me. Take a deep breath. The words sticking in my throat. Finally say it. She's cheating on me, Timothy. The silence on the other end is deafening. You're sure? He asked finally. Positive, I say bitterly. I caught her. She doesn't even deny it. She's been seeing some guy named Anthony. And get this. This idiot had the nerve to leave a message on our phone. Timothy lets out a low whistle. Damn, man. I don't even know what to say. Are you okay? Define okay, I say. Run a hand through my hair. Benjamin's in the hospital. My marriage is a sham. And I've got some idiot thinking he can play dad while I'm still breathing. Listen, Timothy says, his voice steady. You need to lawyer up. Don't wait. Protect yourself and Benjamin. If she's this reckless, she could do serious damage. Financially, emotionally, you name it. He's right. Of course, Timothy always is. But hearing the words makes it all too real. I'm not just facing a betrayal. I'm facing the possible end of everything I thought I knew. I'll call someone in the morning, I say finally. Good, Timothy says. And Robert, don't let her get in your head. She'll try to twist this. Make you doubt yourself. Don't let her. I won't, I say. Though I'm not sure I believe it. After we hang up, sit there in the silence, weight of Timothy's words pressing down on me. Know I need to act. But part of me feels paralyzed, as if acknowledging the situation would make it even more unbearable. Then as if on cue, front door opens. Linda walks in, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. She looks surprised to see me. Didn't think you'd still be up, she says casually, setting her purse down. Didn't think you'd still be pretending this marriage isn't over, I shoot back. She freezes for a moment, her mask slipping just enough to see the flicker of annoyance. What's that supposed to mean? It means I heard your boyfriend's voicemail. Say it cold. On our machine, Linda's eyes narrow. You went through my messages? Laugh a harsh, humorless sound. Don't even try to spin this, Linda. He called our house. On our phone. Don't act like I'm the one in the wrong here. She crosses her arms, her expression hardening. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Anthony was just checking in. It's not like it's a crime. Checking in? I repeat, voice dripping with disbelief. While your son is lying in a hospital bed? Do you even hear yourself? Her jaw tightens, but she says nothing. You've done a lot of awful things, Linda. Continue, my voice trembling with anger. But this is a new low. Do you even care about Benjamin? Or am I the only one in this house who does? Don't you dare question my love for my son, she snaps. Voice sharp as a razor. Then start acting like his mother, I shout, my voice echoing through the room. Linda stares at me, her eyes cold and calculating. You're so self-righteous, Robert. Always playing the victim. Maybe if you'd been half the husband I needed, none of this would have happened. Shake my head, disbelief washing over me. You know what, Linda? Keep telling yourself that. Keep blaming me. But the truth is, you're just a selfish, heartless... Careful, she interrupts, her tone icy. No, I say. Step closer. You don't get to silence me anymore. This is on you. All of it. She stares at me for a long moment. Before grabbing her purse, I'm not doing this with you right now. Of course you're not, I say bitterly. As she walks out the door, slamming it behind her, the house falls silent again. This time it feels less like home, more like a battleground. The slam of the door echoes long after Linda left. The sound seems to rattle through me, a reminder of just how broken things have become. For a moment, stand in the middle of the living room, fists clenched, trying to keep myself from falling apart. This isn't the life I signed up for. It isn't the marriage I fought so hard to protect. But now it's time to stop fighting for her. Start fighting for what really matters. Benjamin and myself. The next morning I call Timothy again. You were right, I say. Skip the pleasantries. I need a lawyer. Do you know anyone good? Timothy doesn't hesitate. Yeah, I know someone. Top notch? I'll send you his number. It's strange how the decision to call a lawyer feels heavier than catching Linda in her lies. Maybe it's the finality of it. Once I speak to someone, there's no going back. This isn't just a rough patch in our marriage. It's the end. But I can't afford to waste time second-guessing myself. Dial the number Timothy gave me. Within minutes, I'm on the phone with a calm, professional voice on the other end. His name is Richard Anderson, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything. Robert, I've seen cases like yours plenty of times, he says. First things first, we need to establish your priorities. Custody arrangements, financial protections, and ensuring your son's well-being. Are you ready to take that step? Yes, I say firmly. I don't think I have a choice. Good, Richard says. Let's meet tomorrow and get started. After the call, sit back feeling a mix of relief and dread. I'm finally taking control. But the road ahead is daunting. I'm not just dealing with Linda's betrayal. I'm unraveling an entire life. Linda returns home late that night, reeking of cheap perfume and gin. She stumbles through the door, like she doesn't have a care in the world, her heels clicking against the floor. "Where have you been?" I ask. Keep my tone even but cold. She smirks, leans against the wall for balance. "Out with Anthony." I press my lips together. Her smirk turns into a scowl. "None of your business." "You're unbelievable," I say, shaking my head. "You think you can just waltz in here, acting like nothing's wrong, like you haven't destroyed this family?" Linda rolls her eyes, brushes past me. "Oh, spare me the lecture, Robert. You're not some saint. You're just mad because you're not in control anymore. That did it." Step in front of her, blocking her path. "Control? Is that what this is about for you?" "No, Linda. This is about respect, about the vows you threw away like they meant nothing." She sneers, her eyes glinting with defiance. "You want respect? Then maybe you should have earned it." Take a deep breath. Force myself to stay calm. "I've had enough of this. I've already contacted a lawyer. You can either start cooperating, or you can make this harder on yourself. Your choice." Her face falters for a split second, the mask slipping. Then she laughs, a bitter, hollow sound. "A lawyer, huh? Fine. Let's see how far you get. But don't think for a second you're taking Benjamin away from me." "Watch me," I say. Keep my voice steady. "I'll do whatever it takes to protect him from this mess you've created." Linda doesn't reply. She storms upstairs, slamming the bedroom door behind her. The next morning, she's gone before I wake up, leaving only a half-empty bottle of gin on the counter as evidence of her presence. I don't care where she's gone. My focus is on Benjamin. The meeting with Richard Anderson. Later that day, meet him at his downtown office. He's sharp and efficient, his questions direct but necessary. "Have you documented her behavior?" he asks, tapping his pen against a notepad. "Not yet," I admit. "Start now," he says. "Texts, voicemails, anything that shows neglect or instability. The more evidence we have, the stronger your case will be." "Got it," I say, feeling a new sense of purpose. "And one more thing," Richard adds. "Stay calm. Don't let her provoke you. Any outburst could be used against you in court." I nod, his words sinking in. It's solid advice, but it won't be easy. Linda has a way of getting under my skin, like no one else. When I return home, begin combing through everything. Emails, phone records, even social media. Doesn't take long to find damning evidence. Photos of Linda and Anthony at some bar, laughing like they don't have a care in the world. String of flirtatious texts from him, complete with heart emojis. Save everything. My resolve hardening. With each new piece of evidence, Linda's next move comes a week later. She comes home in the middle of the day, her face flushed with anger. "What the hell is this?" she demands, waving a stack of papers at me. Glance at them. "Divorce papers," I say calmly. "You're serious?" she asks, her voice rising. "Dead serious," I reply. "This marriage is over, Linda. It has been for a long time." She scoffs, throws the papers onto the table. "You think you're so righteous, don't you? Well, guess what? You're not getting full custody of Benjamin. I won't let you." "Good luck proving that in court," I say. Keep my voice steady. "I've got plenty of evidence to show who the unstable parent is." Her eyes narrow, but she doesn't say anything. Instead, she grabs her purse and storms out again, slamming the door so hard it rattles the windows. "Sit down." Feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. The battle is far from over, but for the first time in months, feel like I'm in control. Linda doesn't come home that night, and for once, I don't care. The silence in the house feels like a blessing. With Benjamin staying another night in the hospital, under observation, I finally have time to reflect. Without her poisonous presence, clouding everything, sit in the living room, flipping through Benjamin's photo albums, pictures of his first birthday, his first trip to the ocean, and countless candid moments remind me of what really matters. Whatever Linda thinks, this isn't about revenge. It's about protecting Benjamin from the mess she had made of our lives. As I close the album, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Timothy. "Keep your head up. If you need anything, I'm here." Reply with a simple thanks. Put the phone down. People like Timothy remind me that not everyone is as self-serving as Linda. The calm before the storm. The next morning, go to the hospital to pick up Benjamin. Seeing him smile, albeit weakly, fills me with relief. "Dad, where's Mom?" he asks, as I buckle him into the car. "She's busy," I say. Try to keep my voice neutral. "But I'm here, and we're going to have a great day." He nods, too tired to question further. On the drive home, make a silent promise to him. No matter how ugly things got with Linda, I'd make sure he felt safe and loved. When we get home, Benjamin goes straight to his room to nap, make some coffee, savoring the rare moment of peace. But it doesn't last long. Around noon, the front door slams open. Linda storms in, her face a mask of fury. "Are you insane, Robert?" she barks, throwing her purse onto the couch. "Good to see you too, Linda," I say. Keep my tone dry. She marches up to me, her finger jabbing the air. "You served me divorce papers without even talking to me. And now you're trying to take Benjamin from me. Who the hell do you think you are?" Set my coffee down, meet her gaze. "I'm the father who actually cares about Benjamin's well-being, something you clearly can't claim anymore." Her jaw tightens. "You don't get to decide that. I'm his mother. I have just as much right to him as you do." "Really?" I say, my voice rising. "Because from where I'm standing, you've been more focused on your boyfriend than on your own son." Linda flinches, but quickly recovers. "Don't you dare use Benjamin to play the victim here. You've always been jealous, Robert. Always paranoid that I'd find someone better than you." Laugh bitterly. "Better than me, Linda? You found Anthony, a guy who's so amazing. He doesn't even have the guts to show his face around here. Real winner." Her face flushes with anger. "At least he listened to me. Unlike you. Maybe if you'd been half the man he is, I wouldn't have needed someone else." "That's rich," I shoot back. "Blaming me for your cheating. Classic Linda. You've never been able to take responsibility for anything, have you?" The argument escalates, our voices echoing through the house. I hate that Benjamin might hear us, but Linda isn't leaving me much choice. Finally, step back, take a deep breath. "This isn't going anywhere," I say. Keep my voice calmer. "We'll let the courts decide. Until then, stay out of my way." Linda sneers. "You think this is over?" "It's not, Robert. Not by a long shot." She grabs her purse, storms out, slamming the door behind her. A disturbing revelation. Later that afternoon, while Benjamin is playing quietly in the living room, go to check the messages on the answering machine. Not sure what I expect. Another careless voicemail from Anthony, maybe. But what I find shakes me to my core. "Linda, it's Anthony," the message begins. His voice is lower, more serious than before. "Listen, I think we need to talk. Robert's not as dumb as you said. If he finds out about the money, it's game over. Call me." Play the message again, my heart pounding. "Money? What money?" The pieces begin to fall into place, each one more horrifying than the last. Linda isn't just cheating. She's hiding something. Something big. Grab my laptop. Log into our joint bank account. Everything looks normal at first glance. But then notice a series of large withdrawals over the past few months. Thousands of dollars, all funneled into an account I don't recognize. My hands tremble as I scroll through the transactions. The dates line up perfectly, with Linda's business trips and other suspicious outings. Sit back, my mind racing. What has she done? Was she stealing from our family to fund her affair? Or was it something worse? The breaking point. The next time Linda comes home, I'm ready. She walks in like nothing happened, tosses her keys onto the counter. "I'm here for Benjamin," she says casually. "No, Linda," I say. Step into her path. "You're here to explain this. Hold up a printout of the bank statements." Watch her face pale. "Where did that money go?" I demand. Her eyes dart around the room, searching for an escape. "It's none of your business," she says finally. "None of my business?" I repeat, my voice rising. "You've been draining our account behind my back. Do you even care what this is doing to Benjamin?" "Don't bring him into this," she snaps. "Oh, he's already in it," I say. "And so am I. So start talking." "Linda, where's the money?" She hesitates, then squares her shoulders. "It's gone, okay? I needed it for things." "Things?" I say, my voice dripping with disbelief. "Don't insult me, Linda." "What things?" She doesn't answer, instead grabs her purse, tries to push past me. "If you walk out that door without explaining yourself, I'll make sure the court knows everything," I say. She stops, her back to me. For a moment, think she might actually tell the truth. But then she turns, her face hard and defiant. "You don't scare me, Robert," she says. "You never have." With that, she walks out, leaving me standing there, more determined than ever to uncover the full extent of her lies. The next morning, start piecing everything together. Anthony's voicemail about the money, Linda's suspicious behavior, and the missing funds. There's no way this is just about an affair. Linda is hiding something far worse. Decide it's time to confront Anthony directly. Tracking him down isn't hard. He works as a manager at a car dealership, a few cities over, armed with a printout of the bank statements, and Anthony's voicemail saved on my phone. Drive there, ready to finally get answers. The dealership is busy when I arrive. Salesmen buzzing around customers, like flies on a carcass. Spot Anthony immediately. A wiry guy in his mid-30s, with slicked back hair and a cocky smirk. That makes my blood boil. He doesn't see me until I'm standing right in front of him. "Anthony," I say, my voice cold. He freezes, his smirk fading. As he recognizes me, Robert, right? Linda's husband. Don't bother with pleasantries. We need to talk. Now." He hesitates, glancing around like he's weighing his options. Finally nods, leads me to his office. Once we're inside, shut the door, get straight to the point. "What's going on with the money?" Anthony's face turns pale. "I don't know what you're talking about," he stammers. Pull out the printouts, slap them onto his desk. "Don't play dumb. You left me a voicemail. If he finds out about the money, it's game over. Ring any bells?" He stares at the papers, his hands fidgeting nervously. "Look, man, I don't want any trouble." "Too late for that," I snap. "Start talking now." Anthony sighs, runs a hand through his greasy hair. "Fine. Linda's been funneling money to me for a business deal. She said it was her savings, and she wanted to keep it private." "What kind of deal?" I demand. He hesitates, then mutters, "An investment in a new property. She said you wouldn't approve." Narrow my eyes. "You're lying. That money wasn't hers to give. And if you think I'm going to let this slide, you're dead wrong." Anthony's demeanor shifts. His nervousness turns into anger. "Listen, man, I don't know what's going on between you two, but you need to back off. Linda and you what?" I interrupt. Lean forward. "You think you're her knight in shining armor? Newsflash, Anthony. She's using you, just like she's been using me." He clenches his jaw, but before he can respond, storm out of the office. There's no point wasting time on him. I have bigger problems to deal with. The legal counterstrike. Back at home, call Richard Anderson, my lawyer. Update him on what I discovered. "Good work," he says. "This strengthens your case significantly. We can use this to show financial misconduct and build a stronger argument for custody." Feel a flicker of hope. For the first time in weeks, it feels like the tide is turning in my favor. Linda's desperation. She comes home that evening, looking more frazzled than usual. She barely makes it through the door before I confront her. "Care to explain why our money is funding Anthony's so-called business ventures?" Ask while holding up the printouts. Her face goes blank, then hardens into a mask of defiance. "I don't owe you an explanation," she says, crossing her arms. "You don't owe me an explanation," I repeat, my voice rising. "That money was for our family, Linda, not for your boyfriend's scams." She rolls her eyes, her tone dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, please. Anthony's not scamming anyone. He's helping me get out of this suffocating mess of a marriage." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. "Suffocating? You mean the marriage where I work to provide for our family while you snuck around behind my back?" Linda doesn't even flinch. "You're pathetic, Robert. Always playing the victim. Maybe if you weren't so boring, I wouldn't have needed someone like Anthony." That was it. I'd had enough. "You're unbelievable," I say, shaking my head. "But guess what? This ends now. I've already filed for divorce, and Richard is building a rock-solid case. You're not walking away from this unscathed." For the first time, Linda seems rattled. "You think you can take Benjamin from me?" she hisses. "I don't think." "I know," I say firmly. "You've shown zero regard for his well-being. The courts will see that too." She doesn't respond, instead grabs her car keys and storms out, slamming the door behind her. A shocking development. The next day, receive an unexpected call from the bank. "Mr. Anderson, this is regarding the flagged transactions on your account." The representative says, "We've discovered that several transfers were made to an offshore account under Linda Anderson's name." My heart sinks. Offshore accounts. This isn't just a case of Linda funding Anthony's scams. She was hiding money. "Thank you for the information," I say. Try to keep my voice steady. "Please send me all the details you have." As soon as I hang up, call Richard Anderson again. "This changes everything," he says. After I explain the situation, "We can file an emergency motion to freeze her accounts and subpoena her financial records. She won't be able to hide anything." I nod, a sense of determination surging through me. Linda thought she could manipulate everyone and walk away unscathed, but she was about to learn that actions have consequences. The calm before the storm. That evening, as I tuck Benjamin into bed, he looks up at me with his big trusting eyes. "Dad," he says softly, "are you and Mom going to stop fighting?" Swallow hard, force a smile. "I don't know, buddy, but no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you. I promise." He nods, closing his eyes, and I sit by his bedside until his breathing evens out. In that moment, realize that no matter how messy things got, Benjamin was the reason I had to stay strong. Linda's lies, Anthony's schemes, the court battles. It all paled in comparison to my responsibility as a father, and I wasn't going to let him down. The day of reckoning came faster than I expected. The courtroom was packed, the air heavy with tension. Linda sat across from me, her lawyer whispering something in her ear as she glared at me with barely concealed contempt. Benjamin wasn't there, thankfully. I'd made sure he was safe. With a friend, whatever happened today, I didn't want him caught in the crossfire. My lawyer, Richard, stood confidently. As the judge called the hearing to order, he laid out the evidence with surgical precision: the missing funds, Linda's affair, her neglect of Benjamin, and even Anthony's dubious offshore account connection. Linda's lawyer tried to counter, spinning tales of my controlling behavior and claiming the withdrawals were for family investments. But the bank records didn't lie. Then came the moment. That changed everything. Richard introduced Anthony. As a surprise witness, the courtroom buzzed with whispers. As Anthony shuffled in, his shoulders hunched and his face pale. "Mr. Carter," Richard begins, "you've been involved with Mrs. Anderson for some time now, correct?" Anthony nods reluctantly. "Yeah." "And during that time, were you aware that she was diverting family funds into your business ventures?" He hesitates, glancing nervously at Linda. "I didn't know all of it was family money. She told me it was hers." Linda shoots him a glare that could have frozen fire. Richard doesn't miss a beat. "Yet you accepted these funds, knowing they were substantial and unexplained?" Anthony nods again. "Yeah." "And the offshore account?" At this, Anthony visibly squirms. "That was her idea. She said it was for a safety net, in case things didn't work out." Richard turns to the judge. "Your Honor, this testimony confirms not only financial misconduct, but also an intent to deceive. Mrs. Anderson was actively undermining her family's financial stability. For personal gain." The judge's gaze shifts to Linda, who looks like she might explode. Linda's last stand. When it's her turn to testify, Linda plays her final card. "I did what I had to do because Robert was suffocating me," she shouts, her voice cracking. "He controlled everything. Our money, our lives. Anthony was the first person who made me feel alive again." The courtroom falls silent. Stand up, unable to stay quiet any longer. "Alive?" I say, my voice steady but full of emotion. "While you were feeling alive, Linda, Benjamin was in the hospital. Alone. Scared. And you didn't even bother to show up." Her mouth opens, but no words come out. "This isn't about you feeling alive," I continue. "This is about your selfishness. Your complete disregard for anyone but yourself. You've betrayed me, stolen from us, and worst of all, you've failed Benjamin, and he deserves better than that." The judge bangs his gavel to restore order, but the damage is done. Linda's carefully constructed facade has shattered. The verdict. After a brief recess, the judge delivers the ruling. Custody of Benjamin is granted to me, with Linda allowed supervised visitation. The court also freezes her accounts, orders her to pay restitution, and mandates counseling if she ever wants unsupervised visits. With Benjamin, as the gavel strikes, signaling the end of the hearing, feel an overwhelming sense of relief. For the first time in months, it feels like justice has been served. Linda storms out without looking at me. Anthony trails after her, looking more like a whipped dog than the smug partner in crime he'd been. A new beginning. That evening, take Benjamin to his favorite pizza place. Watching him laugh and eat, without a care in the world, reminds me why I fought so hard. As we drive home, he asks, "Dad, are things going to be okay now?" Glance at him in the rearview mirror, smiling. "Yeah, buddy, they are. I promise." Later, after tucking him in, sit on the porch, reflecting on everything. Linda's betrayal had nearly destroyed me, but it also taught me something valuable. I learned the importance of standing up for myself and protecting the people I love. I learned that resilience isn't just about enduring pain, it's about rising above it. Most of all, I learned that true strength comes from knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone take it from you. As I stare at the stars, a sense of peace washes over me. This wasn't the ending I'd imagined for my family, but it was the beginning of something better. And for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. Reflections. If you ever find yourself in a situation like mine, remember this: betrayal doesn't define you. It reveals the true character of the people around you and gives you the chance to reclaim your life. Move forward with strength, protect what matters, and never forget, you deserve honesty. Love and respect. Anything less isn't worth your time.